While I was planning our anniversary, my husband was already planning my replacement, and he had no idea he was 3 minutes away from losing everything. On Saturday, June 20th, 2026, at 7:57 p.m., I stood in our dining room in Lincoln Park, Chicago, watching the antique clock count down. Ethan Harper was laughing with a glass of Napa Valley Cabernet in his hand. His mistress stood beside him, smiling like she'd already won. Neither of them knew that every guest arriving at my house carried a different piece of Ethan's secret life. And neither of them knew about the cream-colored envelope resting beneath my hand. Inside it was the truth Ethan feared more than divorce. But that night didn't begin the story. It ended it. It all started 100 days earlier. Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Chicago was cold, gray, and soaked with early spring rain. At 6:18 p.m., chicken parmesan was still in the oven. Garlic bread was wrapped in foil, and Ethan had texted me only 2 hours earlier. Big promotion tonight. Let's celebrate. I believed him. After 12 years of marriage, trusting him had become a habit. The front door opened. I smiled. Until I saw he wasn't alone. A tall blonde woman walked in holding Ethan's hand. She wore a cream-colored coat, expensive heels, and the kind of confident smile that made my stomach tighten before she even spoke. "Ethan," she asked softly, "is this Lily?" He nodded. "This is Vanessa Collins." Then he looked directly at me. My future. I laughed because my mind refused to believe what I'd just heard. "You've lost your mind." "No," he replied calmly. I finally stopped pretending. Vanessa picked up our wedding photo from the fireplace. She looked at it for a second, then turned it face down. Ethan didn't stop her. He smiled. That hurt more than anything she'd done. He stepped closer. "You were never enough, Lily." Every sacrifice flashed through my mind. Working overtime while he finished business school, paying bills when his startup failed, defending him every time people doubted him. Then he pointed at the floor. "Kneel." I stared at him. "What?" "Kneel. Apologize to Vanessa." My heart pounded so hard, I could barely hear the rain outside. Vanessa folded her arms and waited. Ethan never looked away. "She's the future. You're the mistake." For one long second, I couldn't move. Then I noticed something they had forgotten. The tiny red light on our security camera above the bookshelf. It was recording everything. Every insult, every smile, every second. I slowly lowered myself onto one knee. Vanessa smirked. Ethan looked satisfied. They thought they had broken me. They had no idea they had just given me my first piece of evidence. I stood up without saying a word, turned off the oven, wrapped the untouched dinner, then looked Ethan in the eyes. I hope she likes leftovers. Upstairs, I opened my MacBook and logged into our shared bank accounts. Less than 20 minutes later, I found something that made Ethan's affair look like the smallest secret he'd been hiding. The affair wasn't what shocked me. The money was. Hidden inside our financial records was an account I'd never seen before. The balance was $486,217.83. My hands froze over the keyboard. Ethan had spent 2 years telling me we needed to cut expenses, postpone vacations, and delay repairing the roof. Meanwhile, he had quietly built a fortune behind my back. I downloaded every statement, saved screenshots, copied everything to a USB drive. Then I noticed another pattern. Large transfers. Every month. always ending in an account registered to HCG Consulting. We didn't own a consulting company. So who did? The next morning, Friday, March 13, I acted like nothing had happened. I made Ethan scrambled eggs, coffee, and toast. He smiled. Knew you'd come around. I smiled back. That was exactly what I wanted him to believe. At 7:31 a.m., he left for work. 30 seconds later, I followed him. Instead of driving to his office in downtown Chicago, he stopped outside a luxury apartment building overlooking the river. Vanessa was waiting. She kissed him before he stepped out of the car. I photographed everything. The building, the license plate, the time. Over the next 4 weeks, I built a timeline. Hotel receipts, restaurant reservations, flight confirmations, text messages claiming he was working late. Every lie had a matching photograph. By early April, I had hundreds of files, enough to expose an affair. But then, one phone call changed everything. A woman from Hawthorne Private Bank apologized for sending documents to the wrong address. They're beneficiary updates, she explained. My stomach tightened. Who is the new beneficiary? She hesitated, then quietly answered, Vanessa Collins. Not me. His wife of 12 years. I ended the call and reopened every financial record. This time, I wasn't looking for Vanessa. I was looking for names. One kept appearing. Claire Donovan. Thousands of dollars had been transferred to her over nearly 2 years. I searched her name online. 5 minutes later, I found her Instagram. Vacation photos, luxury dinners, and Ethan standing beside her, smiling. Vanessa wasn't the only mistress. She wasn't even the first. Then, fate handed me one final gift. On April 24th, Ethan forgot his Apple Watch on the bathroom counter. A message appeared on the screen. I miss waking up next to you. When are you finally leaving your wife? It wasn't from Vanessa. It wasn't from Claire. It was from Madison. 3 women. 3 different promises. 1 liar. That was the moment I stopped planning a divorce. I started planning a reunion. Not a happy one. A dinner where every person Ethan had deceived would finally meet. At the same table. Saturday, June 20th, 2026. At exactly 8 p.m., the doorbell rang. Ethan smiled. That must be Daniel. I opened the door. It wasn't his business partner. It was Claire Donovan. The color drained from Ethan's face. Before he could speak, the bell rang again. This time, it was Madison. Vanessa looked from one woman to the other. What is going on? I smiled. We're about to find out. A minute later, Daniel arrived. So did Ethan's attorney. Everyone took a seat. Nobody understood why they had been invited. I picked up a small remote. One click. The projector lit up the wall. The first image showed Ethan checking into the Langham Chicago with Vanessa. The second showed him holding Claire's hand in Miami. The third showed him embracing Madison outside a restaurant in Seattle. Then came the voice recordings. 3 different women. The exact same promise. You're the only one I love. Silence filled the room. Vanessa slowly removed the necklace Ethan had given her. Claire slipped off the watch he'd bought her. Madison placed an engagement ring on the table. Then I changed the screen. Bank records, hidden accounts, wire transfers, forged approvals. Daniel flipped through the documents. His face turned pale. These numbers don't match our books. The attorney closed his folder. I can't represent you anymore. Then I picked up the cream-colored envelope. Inside was the forensic accountant's report. Over $1.2 million in fraudulent transfers and falsified business records. The affairs were never Ethan's biggest secret. Fraud was. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. Then, in front of everyone, he dropped to his knees. The same man who had once ordered me to kneel before his mistress was now begging me not to ruin him. Lily, please, I'll fix everything. I shook my head. You had 100 chances to tell the truth. You chose another lie every single time. I removed my wedding ring, placed it beside Madison's engagement ring. Then I walked toward the front door, without looking back. Behind me, Ethan kept begging. Nobody answered him. Because sometimes revenge isn't making someone suffer, it's making them watch everything they built disappear, one truth at a time. If this story kept you watching until the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that self-respect is always worth more than betrayal.